I'm Councilmember Joe Buscaino, and I'm a candidate for mayor of Los Angeles because I love LA. My mom and dad came to this country, like many of your families, with nothing, wanting to provide for their families, came to Los Angeles for a better opportunity, landed at the port of Los Angeles for the fishing industry. And my family taught me the importance of faith, of family, of service above self. And I love this city to the point where I joined the LAPD to protect and serve the residents of Los Angeles and spent a blessed 15 years. And 8 of those years, I worked and patrolled as a senior lead officer working quality of life issues in my hometown. Married my wife, who is a teacher with LA Unified, raising our kids here. And when I decided to run for city council, the people elected their own community police officer to represent them in City Hall. These last 10 years as a council member, it's been a blessing to serve the 15th district, which stretches from Watts all the way down to San Pedro. We've been very effective on leadership with proven results on the homeless issue. Half of the people that we have seen on our streets are now in safer locations with resources. We've embraced a public safety first message through these last 10 years. And the reason why I'm running for mayor is to restore our quality of life. Like many of you, a lot of people feel unsafe in Los Angeles. There's sprawling, dangerous encampments from Silmar down to San Pedro on every corner of the city. Our businesses, our residents are afraid to walk their own streets. And my message and my vision for Los Angeles is a safe and clean LA, to the point where friends don't want to leave LA, businesses don't want to leave LA. And this is why I'm running for mayor, and so glad to be here with Cause. I want to thank Cause for uplifting the AAPI community, and thank you for your advocacy and your steadfast support of supporting the AAPI community here in Los Angeles and beyond. Well, I'm proud to have served the LAPD of 15 years. I'm the only candidate running for mayor who understands the importance of public safety, because I actually wore a bulletproof vest, honorably pinned the LAPD badge, handled violent crime radio calls, handled a variety of calls involving hate crimes. And I'm the only candidate who embraces the importance of public safety and putting public safety first, because if people don't feel safe, they're not going to live here, visit here, raise their families here, and do business here. And my public safety plan is push back against the whole notion of defunding the police. I was one of 2 no votes that voted to cut LAPD $150 million. In fact, one of my first actions as mayor is to refund the LAPD $150 million. Add to the ranks of the LAPD, because I can tell you, with more officers, more visibility on our streets, you'll expect to see a decline in crime. We're going to redeploy officers so they're on your streets, in your neighborhoods, foot beats, bicycle units, undercover officers dealing with the most the quality of life crimes that we're seeing taking shape in the city of Los Angeles. In addition, we're going to increase community-based policing programs that are proven models. I was once a senior lead officer working with relationships and quality of life issues in our neighborhoods. We're going to triple the size of the senior lead officer program. We're also going to expand on a program that we have modeled in Watts, the Community Safety Partnership Program, that works on trust and faith and confidence between the cops and the community. It's a proven model. We're going to take that citywide. And as it relates to the hate crimes in the AAPI community, you know, we had during COVID irresponsible comments that were made by our very own president, and what you're seeing was very hurtful and to the AAPI community. And I can tell you, as mayor, of zero tolerance in hate crimes from all corners of the city of Los Angeles. We are better than that. And I'm going to make sure that as your mayor, we'll have the appropriate staffing levels of our detectives so they can follow up and make sure these criminals are brought to justice. I can tell you, when 73% of the Asian American residents worry about being victims of physical violence or a hate crime, that hits home to me, because we are a city that's better than that. And as mayor, I'm going to prioritize your safety. I'm going to make sure that you feel safe, our businesses feel safe. Well, no different than what I've already done. And when you when you go to the voting booth and select the mayor, I want members of cause to recognize the actions that have been taken, not promises or plans, but what candidate has done the most to solve homelessness. And I'm proud I'm the only candidate who helped connect half of the people living on the streets in my district. By saying yes to solutions, 11 sites, 800 permanent supportive housing units, 800 interim beds, also having safe parking locations, navigation center. We have done it all in my district. And as mayor, I'm going to take this on citywide, because that is a plan forward. But with homelessness, we have to have the carrot and stick approach. And the big difference in my plan is that when a bed is offered to an individual sleeping on the sidewalk should not and will not be an option. And this has been a proven model in my district, and why my colleagues have not agreed with me on this approach, and why I'm taking this to the voters. And I have a ballot initiative. I asked cause members to go to saferstreets.la. And what that'll do is advance quickly 9,000 interim emergency beds within the 36-month period, have accountability that when a bed is offered, the sidewalk will not be an option, to the point where when we get to functional zero on chronic homelessness, that we will have a no camping law throughout the city of Los Angeles. We will also have an accountability measure that if we don't meet certain thresholds, we will dock the pay of the mayor, the city council, the controller, and the city attorney. So there's an accountability piece, and we advance quickly on emergency shelter. And we move on those 9,000 beds when we activate the Emergency Operations Center. I'm the only candidate who has that experience, who's actually worked the Emergency Operations Center, because we have an emergency on our streets, and we're going to fix it as your next mayor. Well, what I'll do is no different than what I've done as a council member. You know, we threw a lifeline to our small businesses and our restaurants during the pandemic. We knew that they had to expand their square footage by serving to their customers outdoors, and we modeled for the rest of the city and how to do that with our outdoor dining platform program, and we kept our small businesses alive during the pandemic, and happy to know now that program has gone citywide. We know that the small businesses are the backbone of our local economy. We need to make sure, and as mayor, I will make sure that the small businesses have a seat at the table in City Hall. Oftentimes, businesses are forced out. Decisions that are being made that are not balanced, are not practical, are hurting our mom and pop business operations in the city of Los Angeles. In addition, our minority-owned businesses should have an equal opportunity in applying for our proposals. Part of my goal is also establish a small business committee that are part of the decision-making, that would be part of the decision-making process. It's City Hall. We also know that businesses are fleeing Los Angeles because they don't feel safe. They have to walk over dangerous encampments, walk over buckets of feces and urine. What message does that send to our city? So part of my plan of eliminating street encampments by moving quickly on interim housing is going to be beneficial to our businesses, because I can tell you crime and homelessness is a tax on our small businesses throughout the city of Los Angeles, and we'll put an end to that. I've always felt that a successful city is when the decision makers reflect the people it serves. And I will ensure that as mayor, that my general managers will have proper representation from the AAPI community, that my commissioners at all departments will have proper representation of the AAPI community. And in my district is an incredible district. It's a model United Nations that have welcomed the world because of the Pacific Ocean, the waters, the Japanese American, Filipino American here in my district, from Watts all the way down to San Pedro. The Korean American community, we are home to the Korean Friendship Bell overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And as well as recognizing the Japanese American community on Terminal Island. I will do no different than what I've done as a council member. I represent the Harbor Gateway community, which is a high population of Asian Americans there, particularly the Japanese American community. And there, we heard from them loud and clear that they felt that they weren't being heard in City Hall, that they felt that they weren't being embraced by the city of Los Angeles. So my office came together with them. We put together what an incredible event, the Yatai Festival, that brought in 5,000 people to the Harbor Gateway community. Then we followed up with the Aki Matsuri event in the Harbor Gateway community. And that's who we are as a city. That's who we are as Angelinos. I'm reminded, like when my family came here, they felt disconnected because they didn't know the language, or they know they had to work a little bit harder to provide food for the opportunities for their kids. And when the community came to me in Harbor Gateway, I felt like I was talking to my own family. And this is why we embraced them and we celebrated their culture, their contributions, and their heritage. And I'll continue to do that as mayor, because I've always said that representation matters. Well, LA is the entertainment capital of the world. Of course, I would point to the infamous Hollywood sign. And but I'm a little biased. I love Los Angeles, and I love the fact that you can be in Koreatown, one point, and then come to San Pedro and be in Little Italy. My message to tourists who come to LA is that you will be welcome to the world when you come to Los Angeles, and kind of don't cheat yourself. Visit our amazing neighborhoods that offer incredible food that is welcoming. But I also tell the tourists to, unfortunately, be careful, be safe, keep your eyes open. We have welcomed the world, and we're proud of who we are as a city. And of course, for me, I'm a little biased to come down to visit, where the port was born, the Wilmington, in San Pedro. We have the Banning House, the Korean Friendship Bell, our Terminal Island, Fish Harbor, Japanese American tribute in Terminal Island. We are Los Angeles, and we welcome the world, and you're going to get a piece of the world everywhere, any neighborhood that you come visit to.